Luke, a hard-working contractor, comes home to find his wife Ella packing her bags, declaring their marriage over. Shocked, he uncovers her secret plan to leave him for her ex, expecting him to beg her to stay. But Luke flips the script, taking control in a way she never saw coming. Will Ella's betrayal cost her everything, or could she claw her way back? Luke's boots crunched against the gravel as he stepped off the construction site, wiping sweat from his brow. The Miami sun blazed, but his crew's progress on the new condo complex felt like a win. At 34, he'd built a solid business, leading a tight-knit team of workers who respected his hands-on approach. Today, he'd stayed late to guide Javier, a new hire, through framing a tricky wall section. "Keep the level steady," Luke said, clapping Javier's shoulder. "You're getting it." The kid grinned, eager to prove himself. Luke's phone buzzed. Ella, his wife of 5 years, texting a Kurt. "Home late again?" He sighed, pocketing the device. Her messages had grown sharp lately, like she was picking fights over nothing. Back at their suburban Miami home, Ella, 30, sat cross-legged on the couch, scrolling Instagram. Her part-time job at a Coconut Grove boutique left her with too much free time, and she filled it chasing influencers' curated lives. Her friend Sophie's posts, cocktails at rooftop bars, weekend trips to the Keys, stirred a restless itch. Ella's life, tethered to Luke's steady income and their modest 3-bedroom, felt small. She fired off a text to Sophie. "Why does everyone else get to live big?" Sophie's reply was instant. "You're too young to settle, girl. You deserve more." Luke pulled into the driveway, his truck's engine rumbling. Inside, Ella didn't look up from her phone. "You're tracking dirt," she said, eyes glued to a video of some influencer's beach getaway. Luke kicked off his boots, biting back a retort. "Long day," he said instead, heading to the fridge for a beer. "Javier's coming along. Might make him foreman soon." Ella's silence was louder than any response. She'd been like this for months, distant, quick to snap, always comparing their life to her friends. Luke tried to bridge the gap. "You want to grab dinner downtown this weekend? Shake things up?" Ella's lips twitched, not quite a smile. "Maybe. I'm meeting Sophie Friday." Friday came, and Ella was out the door by 6, her heels clicking as she left without a goodbye. Luke worked late, finalizing bids for a new project. When he got home at 9, the house was dark. Ella's text arrived at midnight. "Staying out with the girls. Don't wait up." He stared at the message, a knot tightening in his gut. This wasn't the first late night. Sophie's influence had grown, her voice echoing in Ella's complaints about their boring life. Luke opened his laptop, needing a distraction, and noticed Ella's Instagram was still logged in. Her direct messages stared back at him. The name at the top, Ryan. Her ex Luke's jaw clenched as he scrolled. The messages weren't casual. "Missed you at the bar last week," Ryan wrote. Ella's reply, "Next time, I'm there." Luke's always working anyway. The knot in Luke's stomach turned to ice. They'd been planning to meet up, laughing about keeping it secret. Luke slammed the laptop shut, his heart pounding. He wanted to call her, demand answers, but he forced himself to breathe. Confronting her now, with only screenshots and suspicion, would backfire. He needed proof and a plan. The next morning, Ella strolled in at 3 a.m., smelling of wine and perfume. Luke sat at the kitchen table, coffee in hand, waiting. "Fun night?" he asked, keeping his voice even. Ella froze, then shrugged. "Just girl time with Sophie. You wouldn't get it." Her eyes darted away, avoiding his. Luke leaned forward. "I saw your messages with Ryan." Ella's face flushed, but she recovered fast. "You're spying on me now? God, Luke, you're so paranoid." She stormed to the bedroom, slamming the door. Luke didn't follow. Her deflection confirmed everything. Over the next week, Ella's outings with Sophie multiplied. She'd leave without warning, returning at dawn with flimsy excuses. Luke kept his cool, documenting every late night and vague text. He called Matt, his lawyer friend from college, laying out the situation. "She's planning something," Luke said. "I need to protect myself." Matt's voice was calm but firm. "If she's stepping out, secure your assets." "House in your name?" Luke nodded. "Bought it 2 years before we married." Matt laid out steps. Cancel her credit card access, monitor joint accounts, and gather evidence. Luke hung up, a plan forming. Friday evening, Luke returned from the site early, sensing trouble. The house was too quiet. He found Ella in their bedroom, suitcases open, clothes stuffed inside. Not a vacation pack, a move. "What's this?" Luke asked, leaning against the doorframe. Ella didn't look up, shoving sweaters into a bag. "I'm done, Luke. This marriage, this house, it's not enough. I'm staying with Sophie." Her voice was cold, final. Luke's pulse spiked, but he kept his tone steady. "You're leaving? Just like that?" "Ella acepta sutgaskat. I need space to figure out what I want. You can give me that." Luke crossed his arms. "And Ryan? He part of the space you need?" Ella's hands stilled, her eyes narrowing. "You're obsessed. This isn't about him." But her trembling fingers betrayed her. Luke stepped closer. "We could fix this. Counseling, something." Ella laughed, sharp and bitter. "I don't need fixing. I need out." She dragged her bags to the door, expecting Luke to crumble, to beg. He didn't. "Go then," he said, voice low. Ella froze, stunned, then stormed out, tires screeching as she left. Luke picked up his phone, dialing Matt. "She's gone," he said. "Let's move." Luke stood in the driveway, watching Ella's taillights vanish into the Miami night. Her abrupt exit left the air heavy, but he didn't chase her. Instead, he pulled out his phone and called Matt, his lawyer, voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. "She left, Matt. Packed her bags and said it's over." Matt didn't hesitate. "Secure everything now. Cancel her access to your cards, check your accounts, and document what she took." Luke nodded, already moving inside to his laptop. He logged into his bank's website, heart pounding as he revoked Ella's authorized user status on his credit cards. The joint account for household expenses showed a recent withdrawal, $1,200, pulled by Ella hours before she left. He left that account untouched, per Matt's advice, but froze her access to his personal savings. By midnight, Luke had a locksmith on speed dial, scheduling a full lock change for dawn. He paced the house, snapping photos of Ella's abandoned belongings, shoes scattered by the closet, a half-empty jewelry box, kitchen gadgets she'd insisted on buying but never used. Each click of the camera felt like armor, evidence to shield him if she twisted the story later. Matt's words echoed. "Assume she'll play dirty." Luke wasn't taking chances. Morning brought the locksmith, a wiry guy named Carlos who swapped out every deadbolt for $200. "Trouble at home?" Carlos asked, fitting a new key into the front door. Luke gave a tight smile. "Just securing my space." As Carlos worked, Luke's phone buzzed. Sophie, Ella's friend, texting, "Ella's with me. She's upset. Can we talk?" Luke ignored it, sensing a trap. Sophie had been the one whispering in Ella's ear, planting seeds of discontent with her tales of single life and better options. He wasn't about to engage. At the construction site, Luke threw himself into work, barking orders to his crew as they poured concrete for a new foundation. Javier, the rookie, noticed his edge. "You good, boss?" Luke waved it off. "Just focus on the job." But his mind churned. Ella's Instagram was public now, stories flaunting drinks at a South Beach club, her laughter forced but loud. A new post popped up, a selfie with Ryan, her ex, captioned "Living Free." Luke's grip tightened on his phone. She wasn't just leaving. She was rewriting their life as a cage she'd escaped. That evening, Ella called, her voice shrill. "Luke, what the hell? My cards aren't working." He leaned against his truck, keeping his tone flat. "They're my cards, Ella. You're not an authorized user anymore." She sputtered, caught off guard. "I just needed time to think. You can't cut me off like this." Luke didn't flinch. "You took $1,200 from our joint account. Use that." Her silence was heavy. Then she snapped, "I'm still your wife. I have rights." Luke's laugh was cold. "You said our marriage was dead. Live with it." She hung up, and Luke felt a strange relief. He'd called her bluff. The next day, Sophie's name flashed on his screen again. Luke answered, ready to shut her down. "Ella's crashing on my couch," Sophie said, her tone pleading. "She's a mess, Luke. She didn't mean to blow things up." Luke cut in. "She planned this, Sophie. You helped her. Don't act innocent." Sophie stammered. "I just told her she deserved to be happy." Luke's voice hardened. Happy like you? Pushing her to ditch her husband for some fantasy? She's your problem now. He ended the call, blocking her number. By Sunday, whispers reached Luke through the neighborhood grapevine. Ella had been bragging to their neighbor, Maria, about her new chapter, claiming she was finally free from a stifling marriage. Maria, loyal to Luke, texted him the details. She was laughing about it at the block party. Luke's jaw clenched, but he stayed focused. He met Matt for coffee, laying out Ella's moves, her late-night outings, the cash grab, the Ryan connection. Matt scribbled notes. She's banking on you caving, he said. Keep her cut off. If she wants to play games, we'll play smarter. Monday morning, Luke's phone lit up with Ella's name. He let go to voicemail. Her message was frantic. Luke, Sophie's place is a nightmare. I can't stay here. Let me come home. He didn't respond. Instead, he checked the joint account, another $300 withdrawn, leaving it nearly dry. He called his bank, ensuring no further access. Then he drove to the site, where his crew was framing a new floor. Javier tossed him a hard hat. You look like you're ready to punch a wall, boss. Luke smirked. Rather build one. That night, Ella showed up at the house, banging on the door. Luke, open up. I know you're there. He watched from the window as her old key failed in the new lock. She pounded harder, voice cracking. Their neighbor, Maria, stepped outside, curious. Everything okay? She called. Luke opened the door, calm but firm. Ella moved out last week. She's just upset about the locks. Ella spun to Maria, desperate. He's locking me out of my own home. Maria frowned. Didn't you tell me you were done with him? Said you were finally free? Ella's face burned, her story unraveling. Luke crossed his arms. You made your choice, Ella. Go back to Sophie's. She glared, tears welling, then stormed off. Luke called Matt again, updating him. She's spiraling, Matt said. She thought you'd beg her to stay. Now she's got no leverage. Luke nodded, staring at the house, his house. Ella had underestimated him, assuming he'd crumble. Instead, he was rebuilding, step by calculated step. But he knew this wasn't over. Ella's next move would be bolder, and he needed to be ready. Luke woke to a text from his sister, Mia, at 6 a.m. Ella called me. She's freaking out. Can you talk? He tossed the phone aside, focusing on the day ahead. The construction site demanded his attention, a new client meeting to secure a multi-million-dollar contract. Luke arrived early, reviewing blueprints with Javier, who'd stepped up as lead hand. You're killing it, Luke said, handing him the plans. Javier grinned, but his eyes flicked to Luke's tense jaw. You sure you're good, boss? Luke nodded, brushing it off. Just family drama. By noon, Ella's calls started again, 5 in an hour, all ignored. Her voicemails grew frantic, accusing him of ruining her life by cutting her off financially. Luke saved each one, per Matt's advice, building a paper trail. He met Matt for lunch at a downtown diner, sliding his phone across the table. She's losing it, Luke said. Matt listened to the messages, jotting notes. She's desperate. Her next move will be to escalate. Maybe family, maybe a lawyer. Luke leaned back. She's already got Mia involved. Matt smirked. Stay calm. She's got no ground to stand on. That afternoon, Luke's mother, Carla, called. She'd never warmed to Ella, always seeing her as spoiled. Your wife had the nerve to cry to me, Carla said, her tone sharp. Said you locked her out, and she's broke. I told her she made her bed. Luke exhaled, relieved. Thanks, Ma. Carla wasn't done. She bragged to half the neighborhood about leaving you. Now she's playing victim. Don't fall for it. Luke hung up, bolstered by her support, but wary of Ella's tactics. At the site, a delivery truck arrived late, forcing Luke to stay until dusk sorting materials. His phone buzzed again. Sophie's number, unblocked for this. Luke, Ella's out of control, Sophie said, voice strained. She's been crashing in my place, but I can't afford her. She owes me rent. Luke's voice was ice. You told her to walk out on me. Deal with the consequences. Sophie sputtered. I didn't mean for this. She said she was unhappy. Luke cut her off. You don't get to fix this now. He hung up, his focus back on the site, where Javier was double-checking measurements. That night, Ella tried a new angle. She showed up at Luke's job site, just as he was locking up, her car screeching into the lot. We need to talk, she demanded, stepping out, arms crossed. Luke kept his distance, keys in hand. You said it's over. What's left to say? Ella's voice cracked. I was upset, Luke. Sophie pushed me to think I deserved better. I messed up. Luke studied her, unmoved. You planned this for months. Ryan, the money, the suitcases. That's not a mistake. Ella's eyes widened, but she pushed forward. I don't want Ryan. I want us. Luke laughed, sharp and bitter. You wanted freedom. You got it. He turned to leave, but Ella grabbed his arm. I'm sleeping on a couch, Luke. I have nothing. He pulled free. You have your job and the $1,500 you took. Figured out. Ella's tears started, but Luke walked away, climbing into his truck. As he drove off, he saw her slump against her car, alone in the empty lot. The next morning, Luke's neighbor, Maria, texted. Ella was asking around, trying to get people on her side. Said you abandoned her. Luke shook his head, forwarding the message to Matt. He spent the day finalizing the client contract, his crew buzzing with energy as the deal closed. Javier slapped his back. Big win, boss. Luke managed to smile, but Ella's moves gnawed at him. She was painting him as the villain, banking on sympathy to sway him. By evening, Ella's sister, Mia, showed up at the house unannounced. Luke let her in, bracing for a lecture. Mia looked uneasy, sitting at the kitchen table. Ella's staying with me now. Sophie kicked her out. Luke raised an eyebrow. Not my problem. Mia sighed. She knows she screwed up, Luke. She's talking about therapy, fixing things. Luke leaned forward, voice low. She fixed nothing when she was sneaking around with Ryan and draining our account. Why believe her now? Mia had no answer, her silence confirming his point. Luke walked Mia out, spotting Maria across the street, waving. Heard Ella's telling everyone you're heartless. Maria called. I set him straight. She was gloating about leaving you last week. Luke nodded, grateful for the loyalty. Back inside, he checked his bank app. The joint account was down to $50. Ella had cleaned it out before Sophie's eviction. He called Matt immediately. She's playing dirty, Matt said. File for divorce now. She's got no claim to your house or business, but don't let her drag this out. Friday brought a new twist. Ella's mother, Rosa, called, her voice trembling. Luke, ella es drooling. She's back home with us in Orlando. Can't you give her a chance? Luke stayed firm. She walked out. Rosa bragged about it. I'm done. Rosa pleaded, but Luke ended the call. He drove to the site, where his crew was celebrating the new contract. Javier raised a water bottle in a mock toast. To the boss who keeps it together. Luke laughed, the weight lifting for a moment, but he knew Ella wasn't finished. Her desperation was building, and the next strike would be her boldest yet. Luke leaned against his truck, the Miami skyline glowing under the early morning haze. His construction site hummed with activity, cranes lifting steel beams as Javier rallied the crew. The new contract was paying off, but Luke's focus split. Ella's escalating tactics kept him on edge. His phone buzzed with a voicemail from an unknown number. Mr. Carter, this is Attorney Lopez, representing Ella Carter. We need to discuss reconciliation options. Luke deleted it, forwarding the number to Matt. She's lawyering up, he told Matt over a quick call. Matt's response was swift. She's got no case, but she's trying to scare you. Push the divorce filing. At the site, Luke caught Javier's eye, signaling a break. They grabbed coffee from a food truck, and Javier ventured. You seem off, boss. Wife trouble still? Luke nodded, keeping it brief. She's trying to claw her way back. Won't work. Javier's chirag. You're solemn, man. She's the one missing out. Luke appreciated the support, but stayed vigilant, checking his bank app. The joint account was empty. Ella's final withdrawal left nothing. He texted Matt the update, who replied, she's burning bridges. Stay the course. That afternoon, Luke's mother, Carla, texted, Ella's spreading lies to your coworkers. Said you cheated and kicked her out. Luke's blood boiled. He called his supervisor, Tom, who laughed it off. Nobody's buying her story, Luke. Your crew knows you. Relieved, Luke doubled down on work, finalizing permits for the next phase. But Ella's smear campaign stung. She was twisting the narrative to paint him as the villain, banking on guilt or pressure to bend him. By evening, Luke drove to a local bar to meet Matt, who slid a folder across the table. Divorce papers, ready to file. She can't touch your house or business, but she might try for spousal support. Luke scanned the documents, his signature steady as he signed. She's got her job and the cash she took. That's enough. Matt nodded. File tomorrow. She'll get served at her parents' place in Orlando. Luke felt a weight lift. Action felt better than waiting. The next morning, Luke's sister, Mia, called, her voice tense. Ella showed up at my office, begging me to talk to you. She's saying she'll do therapy, anything. Luke gripped the steering wheel, pulling into the site. She had her chance, Mia. She chose Ryan and Sophie's couch. Mia hesitated. She's broke, Luke. Her parents are fed up, pushing her to get a real job. Luke's tone was flat. She made her choices. He hung up, focusing on the crew unloading lumber, but Mia's call lingered. Ella was cornered, and desperate people played dirty. Midday, a process server confirmed Ella had been served the divorce papers at her parents' house. Luke's phone lit up minutes later, Ella calling repeatedly. He let it go to voicemail, her messages a mix of sobs and accusations. You're throwing away our marriage. I just needed space. Luke saved each one, emailing them to Matt. He wasn't engaging. Every word she said was ammo for her own downfall. That night, Maria, the neighbor, knocked on Luke's door, holding a bottle of wine. Heard Ella's been bad-mouthing you, she said, stepping inside. Told everyone at the community center you locked her out for no reason. Luke poured 2 glasses, shaking his head. She's rewriting history. You saw her bragging about leaving. Maria nodded. I called her out. She shut up fast. Luke toasted her. Thanks for having my back. Maria grinned. Always. She's learning nobody's buying her act. Friday brought a new escalation. Ella's attorney, Lopez, emailed Matt, proposing a meeting to explore reconciliation and delay the divorce. Matt forwarded it to Luke, adding, she's stalling. Probably can't afford her lawyer. Luke agreed. Ella was grasping at straws. He spent the day mentoring Javier, who was now running part of the site, and felt a spark of pride. Work was his anchor, pulling him forward while Ella floundered. Saturday morning, Luke met Claire, a teacher he'd met at a community event, for coffee. She listened as he shared the chaos of Ella's exit, her calm perspective grounding him. Sounds like she thought you'd chase her, Claire said, sipping her latte. When you didn't, her plan fell apart. Luke nodded, appreciating her clarity. Exactly. I'm done playing her game. Claire smiled, her stability a stark contrast to Ella's chaos. They parted with plans to meet again, a small step toward something new. By Sunday, Ella tried a bold move. She showed up at the site, catching Luke as he inspected scaffolding. I'm sorry, she blurted, voice shaky. I was stupid. Let's fix this. Luke stepped down, keeping his distance. You fixed it when you left with $1,500 in a suitcase. You're free now. Ella's eyes welled up. I can't do this alone, Luke. My parents are done helping me. He shrugged. Get a better job. You're not my problem anymore. She stood frozen as he walked away, the crew watching in silence. Matt called that evening with an update. Her lawyer's backing off. Ella's got no money to fight, and her parents won't bankroll her. Divorce is on track. Luke exhaled, staring at the city lights from his porch. Ella's world was crumbling, not because of him, but because she'd gambled on a fantasy and lost. He was moving on, building something stronger, without her. Luke watched the sunrise from his Miami porch, the quiet broken only by the hum of early traffic. His construction business was booming, with Javier now managing his second crew on a new downtown project. The divorce papers, filed weeks ago, sat finalized in a court email Luke received that morning. Ella was officially out of his life. He deleted her last voicemail, another plea for one last talk, and blocked her number. Matt, his lawyer, had warned him, she'll try one final play. Stay sharp. At the site, Luke reviewed plans with Javier, who'd earned his trust with flawless work. Client wants an extra floor, Luke said, pointing at the blueprint. Javier nodded, jotting notes. We got this, boss. Luke's phone buzzed. A text from Claire, the teacher he'd been seeing. Dinner tonight? My treat. He smiled, typing back, "You're on." Her steady presence was a lifeline, pulling him toward a future untainted by Ella's chaos. Midday, Luke's mother, Carla, called with news. "Ella's telling people you ruined her life," she said, voice dripping with disdain. "She's working some desk job in Orlando now, whining to anyone who'll listen." Luke shrugged it off. "Let her talk. Truth's out." Carla chuckled. "Your neighbor Maria shut her down at a barbecue. Said Ella was gloating about leaving you months ago." Luke thanked her, focusing on the crane lifting steel beams. Ella's lies couldn't touch him here. That afternoon, an unexpected email hit Matt's inbox. Ella's attorney, Lopez, requesting a meeting to discuss settlement terms. Matt called Luke immediately. "She's fishing for spousal support, but she's got no leverage. Your house, your business, all yours." She walked away. Luke agreed to ignore it, instructing Matt to push the divorce through. "No deals," he said. "She made her bed." Matt laughed. "She's learning that the hard way." By evening, Luke met Claire at a Bayside restaurant, her calm demeanor easing the day's tension. Over tacos, he shared the latest, Ella's legal Hail Mary. Claire listened, then leaned forward. "She thought you'd be her safety net forever. When you cut that rope, she crashed." Luke nodded, her insight cutting through the noise. "I gave her everything. She threw it away for a fantasy." Claire reached for his hand. "You're free now. Build something real." Her words hit deep, sparking hope he hadn't felt in months. The next day, Luke's sister, Mia, texted, "Ella's back in Miami. Want to see you." Luke didn't respond, instead driving to the site where his crew was pouring concrete. Javier caught his mood. "She's still bugging you?" Luke shook his head. Not for long. He focused on the work, the rhythm of hammers and drills grounding him. Ella's return was no surprise. She'd always chased control, not closure. That night, Ella appeared at his house, knocking softly. Luke opened the door, keeping it half closed. "What do you want?" he asked, voice flat. Ella's eyes were red, her voice small. "I was wrong, Luke. I listened to Sophie, chased stupid dreams. I want us back." Luke crossed his arms. "You want it out. You got it. Divorce is final." Ella's face crumpled. "I'm broke, living with my parents. I can't do this." Luke stepped back. "You did it to yourself. Go." He shut the door, her sobs fading as she left. The next morning, Matt confirmed the divorce was sealed. No alimony, no claims. Ella had nothing to fight with, her lawyer dropping the case when her funds ran dry. Luke drove to the site, where Javier greeted him with a fist bump. "Heard you're officially free, boss." Luke grinned. "Feels good." He threw himself into work, signing a new client for a beachfront condo project. The crew cheered, sensing his momentum. Days later, Maria texted, "Ella's telling everyone she's starting over. Got a job at some insurance office." Luke didn't care. He met Claire for a walk along South Beach, her laughter light against the ocean's roar. "You're different," she said, nudging him. "Happier." Luke nodded. "I stopped chasing someone who didn't want me." Claire's smile was warm. "Good. You deserve better." Weeks passed, and Luke's life settled into a new rhythm. He promoted Javier to site manager, freeing himself to focus on bigger deals. Claire became a constant, her independence a stark contrast to Ella's demands. One evening, over coffee, Luke got a call from Matt. "Ella's parents reached out. They're begging you to talk to her. She's lost." "I told them it's done." Luke thanked him, hanging up. Ella's choices had caught up, her fantasy of freedom now a grind of low-paying work and family pressure. Luke stood on his porch, staring at the city lights. Ella had bet on him breaking, on his loyalty, holding her up while she explored. Instead, he'd rebuilt, stronger, clearer, free. Claire joined him, handing him a beer. "To new chapters," she said. Luke clinked his bottle against hers. "To knowing your worth." Ella's lessons stung her alone. Betrayal burns bridges you can't rebuild.